Okay, welcome back everyone to Orchos Tzadikim. We're in day 19, and it is actually the last day that we're going to be dealing with the chapter of Arrogance. We're completing the chapter of Arrogance today, and he's continuing on what we started yesterday, which was, what do you do if you see that you've been afflicted by this bad trait? And he continues, make a fence to keep far from arrogance and from evil traits. He who wishes to completely root pride out of his heart cannot do this by thought alone. But in the beginning, he must remove himself from arrogance to the outermost limit. How does one do that? If a man was accustomed to wearing very ostentatious, stylish, name brand clothing, like those who are elevated of spirit, haughty of spirit, and he wishes to depart from this, if he simply starts wearing good clothes and moderate clothing, he will not root out arrogance from his heart. Or if he has been one to seek honor and lord over other people in word or deed, there really is no correction for him until he humbles himself, sitting lower than others, putting on worn out garments that perhaps shame him, shame the one who wears them. Remember, he's got to go to the opposite extreme. He's a very arrogant person. He's got to go in the opposite direction. And the like, until he roots out arrogance from his heart. Similarly, if one is angry and hot-tempered, and often vents his anger, he must first come to react with complete passivity, to being hit or cursed, and he must persist in this way a long time until he can root out wrath and let it be torn out of his heart. Then he can turn back and adopt the middle course and remain with it the rest of his days. The Rambam tells us the middle path, called the Shvil HaZahav, the golden path between two opposite character traits, is where a person should live, in the middle path. So this person is arrogant, so he's at one extreme, so he's got to go to the opposite extreme for some time, and by going to the opposite extreme for some time, he's able to root out arrogance. But it has to be for some time. Like I told you yesterday, the story of that arrogant wealthy man that had to dress up as a pauper, which is one of his examples. He said then he can go back to the middle path. And this regimen should be pursued with every bad trait. First, one must remove himself from it until he can remove himself no further and remain in that position for a long time. Then he must turn back and adopt the middle course. This regimen guarantees a complete cure for all bad traits. One who is inclined to serve the Almighty with each trait in its most select manifestation will set this path before himself and his fellow Jew. In this regard, it is written, V'sam derech erena b'yesh Elokim. Someone who sets his path, who weighs his path, who looks into his path, his character traits, good and bad, to that person I will reveal and the salvation of the Almighty. I mean that person will be saved from harm, from ultimate harm. So I say to you, think about the trait of arrogance to the degree that you have it. Try to identify if you have it. Many of us have it. Most of us have it. I dare say perhaps more than that, right? In what ways are we arrogant? Try to identify that and then ask yourself, how can I go to the opposite extreme? What can I do? Perhaps the things that the Orchos Tzadikim may be too radical for you, but perhaps not. But what could you do to go to the opposite extreme so that you uproot this trait from your heart? Something to think about. Have an amazing day.